Do you spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to answer this question? Well, a lot of coaches do. And the reason for that is because they believe one or more of the three big myths. But before I dive into these myths, let's take a look at the structure of the XYZ. One of the most common structures of this is helping X do Y without Z. The first and biggest myth is that it is a concrete statement that you use everywhere to anyone, anytime. Unfortunately, this is like speaking to everyone, and therefore you don't actually speak directly to anyone. So what we need here is a blanket skeleton statement that we can hang the details on. This helps us remember what the structure is and how to present it in different situations. So let's take a quick look at this using my example. So my X is coaches. Now that could be a lot more descriptive, but remember, this is the skeleton. Essentially, I'm helping them do marketing, and I'm helping them do it without overwhelm. Okay, Monte, that's easy for you to do because it's your business, right? What if it was somebody else's business? Okay, here's a real life example. I know someone who helps corporate professionals do podcasting without having it be a time suck. So let's bust this myth, change concrete into skeleton, and use this framework to fill in the details when appropriate at the right time. And myth number 2, it has to be exactly helping, do, and without. So let's just look at it like X is the base audience, and Y is the result, and Z is the pain point to avoid. So X requires a verb of some kind. So we can be guiding or leading or making or empowering. The result requires an action where they could make or craft or be, but an action can also stop or avoid, which then brings us to a little bit of a confusing point about the pain, because without the pain, how else can you describe that? We could be avoiding, we could be reversing the concept and using with or by, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing with the do and without. What everyone is looking for is that clear and concise statement. We want it to be reusable and easy to remember. A good strategy to use is segmentation. So we have our skeleton statement that we can dress up for the proper segmentation that we're talking to. I can say that I help coaches stop second guessing. Now, stop second guessing is a do and a without. So how do I finish this off and get my XYZ? Now, before we go any further, I understand how this can be confusing. So I built a little GPT that can help diagnose if the problem is further upstream and you need to solidify your foundations first. I put the link to that GPT in the description. Okay, now to solve this little dilemma, we can address myth number 3. Myth number 3 is that it's only helping X do Y without Z, and that's it. When really, we've got 2 more levels to use. And the 5 levels are helping X do Y without Z using U, so S. Why did I use U and S? Because nobody's familiar with them, and I could use any letters, so I just use the letters of the words that it represents. So it's XYZS. So the big idea here is that we can add in our uniqueness and tie it together with the goal that they're looking for. Let's take a look at my example. When I say, I help coaches stop second guessing by diagnosing what to fix first so they can confidently find their next best step. Now, if we look at this, we have X, Y, Z, U, S. We have 5 statements. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 statements here. But when we analyze this, I'm saying that they are stopping the second guessing without second guessing. My do and my without are combined into one statement. It doesn't have to follow the exact structure of XYZUS as long as it contains all of the components, or as many of those components as possible. Let's use a real life example that might be a little silly, but a sports stadium hot dog vendor Not in a little stand, the guy that walks around in the stadium and sells hot dogs directly to the people out in the stands. Now, if he was stuck on myth number one, he would think there would be one statement and he'd be trying to get everybody to buy a hot dog by yelling out the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that's not really going to appeal to a lot of people. So he changes it up and uses different statements based on which people he sees and makes eye contact with. Now, if this vendor was stuck on myth number two, he might be thinking that he only helps hungry people satisfy their hunger so that they can watch the game. Instead, by targeting sports fans who are looking to enjoy the game, he can help them avoid being distracted by hunger and enhance the game experience by providing them with a tasty treat. The most memorable hot dog vendors, I've heard of them, maybe you've heard of them, maybe you've bought a hot dog from one, but they extend down past myth number three. They use a unique selling point and are out there offering the right kinds of hot dogs with the right kinds of toppings to the right kinds of people and seeing who has kids and who's in a group and who is by themselves and making sure that they cater to each different segment, offering them the right kind of hot dog and the right kind of experience because you can't have a hot dog without a drink, right? Now, what's really interesting about the whole helping X do Y without Z and more is how it relates to feature, benefit, and meaning. And interestingly enough, there are two more levels to feature, benefit, meaning. If you'd like to learn about those, click on that video and I'll show you right now. See you there.